Investors, crypto enthusiasts, beginner traders, advanced traders, everybody. I just had my biggest win on Ethereum, which I will show you in the bottom right-hand corner of the screen. The trade is still open, right? But I took my last bit of profit this morning, actually, when I woke up, because I noticed that, hey, what is the next level of resistance going to be? And it's going to be right around that $1,600 mark. And that's exactly where it ended up being. So if I'm looking at this, I mean, honestly, is it easier to see if I do that, versus that? Yeah, why not? We'll do this. And it's right around 1,600 for Ethereum. We can see on the wick here on the daily, right? We can see that little bit it's exhausted. So now it's being pushed down. Not to say that it won't fill back up, but right now sellers are in control of the daily candle right now. Even though we've had a massive pump of 7%, this has been a big move. Honestly, let's look at how big this move has been from yesterday. So started out here, boom, boom, boom. It's been a 20% move since yesterday. That's nuts. Go Ethereum. Because of Ethereum, I made like 20 grand yesterday. Super pumped about, right? Super pumped because we need it. The housing market's doing bad. Just everything is more expensive. Gas is more expensive. Like, my goodness. So the target, if I'm just putting in a line, just simple, right? Because again, you guys know that I'm a support and resistance swing trader, and it's not that hard to do, but people, I don't know, they want to get real fancy about stuff, and they don't really need to get real fancy about stuff. You can make big gains by just simply using support and resistance. Like, I've seen some really, really incredible traders, and this is all they use. And then I've also seen some decent traders be incredibly complex, and that's where you got to kind of find your little bit of a spin here. But I'm going to remove this level because we are out of this box at this point. We are moved into another box, and right now that box is 1,600. So here I'm going to create a alert. I'm going to say once per bar, and I'll say this is on the daily because that's what I like looking at. I'll enter lower, but and what do I want the message to be on my cell phone? I'm going to say 1,600 and go long, right? So if we're able to break above here, I will probably add to my position and what's left of it, because you can see I'm up 551%. I have made, if I'm looking at it, I've made 5% of my trading portfolio on just that one trade, right? And it's simple because, if I risk 1% of my portfolio and I get 100% gain, that made all my money back. 200%, 300%, 400%, 500%. But I also played support and resistance where I was taking profits as I go up there. Okay? So still made 5% of my portfolio, which is awesome, which means it's going to pay for the next 5 trades that I do if I were to lose all 5 of them, which, I need to stop trading for a little while if I lose the next 5 in a row, which can happen, but let's hope not. And what I'm looking at here that's important to notice, though, is that we've got an exponential move, right? We have an exponential move. And that move on Ethereum, we haven't found a throwback yet, okay? And what I mean by throwback is there hasn't been any selling pressure to consolidate. You know how, like, here, let me get rid of these guys so that you can see just a little bit better. Oh, like if we're looking at this move, right? Looking at this move, what happened? Boom, boom, boom. There's the exponential breakout. Where should you possibly try to get in? Well, you need to wait for that throwback. There's that throwback. And then it goes up again. then we got a throwback, and then it goes up again. You don't want to just keep buying and buying and buying and FOMOing. Right now, I feel like this would be a bad price to FOMO into Ethereum, right? Because in my mind, it's either going to punch through 1600 or we're retracing back close to that 1500 mark. And that 1500 mark should act as kind of a bottom, a floor for Ethereum at the moment. And that's where this comes in, that's where you want to buy. Okay. So if I delete that and we look back here, with that being said, what does this move look like? There's really no pause yet. There really is no pause yet. And there is some resistance in the way here. What's interesting, you can do this when you're reversing, but when you're at all-time highs, okay, let me zoom out. When you're at all-time highs, there is no resistance in the way, okay? Because when it comes up like this, there's nothing to go off of as where your price targets should be, because there's no prices, right? So you need to adjust your strategy once we're in a tremendous bull market like that. That's where this whole throwback idea works out, okay? And then that's when you'll look for some reverse patterns, like head and shoulders is one, double top, triple top kind of a thing to be looking at. Hey, price is eventually probably going to go down because looking, it's been a little while since I've looked at the all-time highs. What do I see? I see one. So here we've got a run up to a top. There's double top. And then that neckline would have been a good indication that, hey, boom, 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 we're probably going down again, right? So that was something to look out for. But getting back to this guy, I took my last little bit of profit at 1,585 is what I got. So I didn't get the exact top for the day of 1,594, but I just saw that this arbitrary line compiled with anything with a zero. I know I've said this how many times. Have you guys been with me? I've said this. I'm a little stuffy this morning. Time and time again, as far as look out for even numbers, 1,600, 1,700, 1,800, 1,900. It's going to be a pause. There's going to be, like I said yesterday, it's almost like a yellow light. Yellow light, hold on. Price is going to decide whether we're going to go up or down from here. Sometimes it's a complete stop sign, and then price just continues to tank. Other times, it's just brief. Yellow light turns green again and goes. Boom. But it's important to, when you're trading, to take profits there. And, okay, I'm not done with Ethereum yet. I'm going to continue with Ethereum. Because as I'm looking at this is truthfully the most in-depth that I've looked at Ethereum this morning. Right when I woke up, I briefly looked at it. And I sold again half my position. So now my position is literally a quarter of what it was when I opened it. And I moved my stop. I moved my stop back up to relatively to this level, 1,500. So I moved my stop here because I'm like, all right, it's time for me to get out of this trade if we're going to retrace at all. There's no need for me to keep this trade open, but I should at least lock in as much profits as I can. And if I keep this trade open to this point, it'll be the trade would close at 400%, right? So, and I just have a little bit left open. Like I said, 25%, a quarter of what's originally left open there. But 1,600 is that level. I'm looking for a throwback right now. I might put in a limit order here where if we can get above this line, I will have that order open and it'll continue to go, and I'll probably keep that stop at the same level, right? But that's one way to look at it, but I'm looking for a throwback, and that throwback should be to the $1,500 range or so on Ethereum. And for Bitcoin, right? Let me do. This trend line isn't going to be worth a damn because it's going to be incredibly hard to keep that trend line here. So Bitcoin, if I've told you anything, where's that level of resistance? It's easy to pick out, even if you don't even have to look at this. It's an even number, 21,000, right? Where has price stopped currently? 21,009. 21,009 is where this little candle decided to go, oop, all right, now it's time to sell. You know, you don't even have to be a technical analyst to see that. If you're looking at my chart and you can see, hey, okay, I've got a level of support and a level of resistance, and then I also have a ascending triangle, which ascending triangles about 60% of the time they pop to the upside, but they usually have a pretty big pullback right away, right? Usually they have a pretty big pullback. And, you know, if I'm going back in time a little bit, you know, we can see one was here. Boom. Oh, let me I'll just draw it out here, okay? So we can see there, and then we had that boom, boom, boom breakout, and then there was the throwback, right? And typically price then at that point should go, but instead we decided to get back into this. So the next bit was waiting for it to happen again. Boom. Now we're waiting for a throwback, and that throwback could literally be to the top of 20,000. The top of 20,000 would be a decent entry point into Bitcoin here. Sorry, I was looking at my OBS for a second. And that is essentially what I'm looking at here. But if you're like, hey, Johnny, but you've got a trade that's at 51%. I closed out of my full Bitcoin trade last night because I thought, hey, you know, 1,600, 1,500, not 1,500. Again, like middle point, right? 20,500, 20,600 has been, it's been hard for Bitcoin to get over it. So I figured, all right, I have enough gains on this deal. I'm just going to close it out so that I can open up another trade and it could pay for that trade if I'm wrong. So while I was sleeping, I had a limit order at 20,400. And why did I have a limit order at 20,400, right? Which is relatively this line, a little bit lower. 20,400. I wanted to make sure that I was hitting highs. So I kind of went for the high of yesterday's high, and I wanted to see if we could break through it. And if we could break through it, I'd get into the position. So my limit order got filled while I was sleeping. Boom. And I already took profits because I knew that 21,000 was going to be a level of resistance. Okay, so that's where this trade happened right here and there. Happened quickly, happened within a few hours. You know, I'd have to look back at my order book, but I think it happened at like 1 a.m. this morning. So when I woke up, you know, I saw, hey, it got filled and we were getting close to 21,000. So before I went live, I decided to close it out. And if you guys remember me talking about yesterday, I was saying that my strategy is usually right around 50%. I like to take half off the table, you know, like a good poker player. I'm taking half, boom, boom, boom. And now, you know, it doesn't matter if I leave my stop where it's at. It's a free trade. It's a free trade. But in this instance, I actually did move my stop back up to where I entered because I was being greedy. I'm being greedy. I want to make sure that I have that money, you know, that it's a positive gain for my account, right? But I do think that there's going to be a throwback, and that throwback might be back to that level as well. And if it is back to that level, which I'm looking for some sort of a selling pressure, you know, because things can't go up forever. This is where people get stuck. It's because a lot of people get stuck thinking that this guy is going to continue to just continue to keep going to the moon, right? Just boom, 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 boom. And it's can, but unlikely. And again, what I was talking about on Ethereum is when you're at all-time highs, there's no levels of resistance in the way. But here, since we're at the bottom, we are at the market bottom. So the market bottom, we've got a lot of levels of resistance. So if I'm just going to put it out here, we're currently at a level of resistance at 21,000. What's the next level? Well, the next level is going to be, what is this? 21,800, right? Here, let me get a better... blue is good. Blue is good. 21,800, and then we've got another level right here at 22,800. Dude, stop. Oh my goodness. And then we've got another level that I would say would be right about here. Right? Close to 25,000. Let me move these guys out of the way. So you've got the stair step here. So you will notice that price is more than likely going to stop at these areas. And whether they hang out there for a while, the probability is on the side that that's what's going to happen if we are going up. It could easily break out, touch one, and then come back down, boom, and go here. Could easily do that. But the point is we've got an idea of where this price should be headed, okay? But again, if we had all-time highs, if I'm resetting the back here to the 69,000, we have all-time highs. There's nothing in the way that you can measure off of that. So it's hard to use that. And a lot of people get stuck because they don't even decide to look at that stuff, right? And again, what I was saying on Ethereum is you can definitely see that this is a double top, right? This is a double top. It's a huge double top, right? So truthfully, the neckline is down here, and that's at 30,000. And what happened? Price, when it broke the neckline, has tanked down here. That would have been a good place to short, but you already lost so much there, So that's why it was difficult, because nobody likes to short stuff when they've already lost so much. It was supposed to be kind of a balance, and that's why we see so much of this area where things are just going is because everyone was trying to decide if this was really a thing. And the big money players decided that it was actually a thing. So the trade is still open for Bitcoin. And where am I looking for, right? Because that's probably what everybody wants to know is, hey, what are you looking at getting in? Like, yeah, I can see that stochastics on the daily, we are oversold, okay? So that is telling me that this move has kind of exhausted itself a little bit, but it could stay going that way for a while. So I'm not horribly worried about that. If I'm looking at volume, let's look at volume. Volume, it's not massive amounts of volume, which is okay, but it is declining volume, meaning that the move is also probably not going to go much higher. If I look at the key points here, right, boom, you can see this is the area that has been taken as resistance. Because if you're looking at where a lot of selling and buying pressure happens is right around here, okay? That's a big box. So if we can break into that box, we're probably going to stay in that box for a little while, but that is going to be a hard box to break into. And we kind of got close to it, which makes perfect sense. But the other box down here is saying, hey, there's a lot of buyers and sellers ready to hang up here. So that's exactly where I put the price target, right around 20,400. That's where I believe we're going to catch some support if this move decides to become exhausted. And that's where I will probably, open a trade again. Okay. And even though I already have a trade open there, that's kind of where I'm thinking here. And if it even drops down to 20,000 is a better bet for it to stay, because it's just that arbitrary number. If we can stay above 20,000, boom, more than likely we are going to bounce off of 20,000 and then continue upwards. I have told you guys that here in the next month or so, I do believe that we can get up to 25,000, which is up top here, right? Up top here. And I want to be a part of that move. I want to make profits up to here. That is the silliest arrow I have ever seen. But that's what I'm thinking at. 1,600 Ethereum, right? 25,000 ideally, but we need a break above 21,000 for Ethereum. Very simple, yet I feel like nobody's really talking about this while they're trading. They want to get really technical about stuff, and you don't need to be that technical. This is Johnny Crypto. I'm here to help you guys make some money. Appreciate every single one of you. Please like and subscribe. If you want $30 to help with your trading, it's in my description. It certainly helps. But I'm out of here.